Remember, please hit like and subscribe for me. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go. Hi, everyone. Today is October the 13th, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform. I know some of you might be saying, holy cow, we got a lot of fibs going on right here. So let's remove this one as we begin staring down the E-mini S&P. Now, we had a really aggressive fade watching the 4-hour chart. And not really, we're not used to moves like this, so it feels dramatic. But it is a garden variety move, right? If we move down another couple of percent today, it would still be garden variety. But here's what we're used to doing. We had 2 days of motion in sort of like the late September, something like that. And in a day and a half, we almost completely erased it, right? Prior to that, we had a sharp dip down, move straight back up. Sharp dip down, move straight back up. So here's what we want to watch. If this behavior is the same, then we're in great shape, right? We're just going to keep it on, and we'll get above the put wall, which is currently 6,700, and then we've got a high volume level that looks like about 67.25, and then the call wall is 67.40. Now remember, the traders who sit in the option chains, they want price to get above 6,700 but stay below 6,740. That's the goal. Right now, we are battling this overnight level at 66.80. Now, my thought was if we get above 66.84, I spoke about that at market kickoff last night, and then it would go to 6,700, 67.05. It did exactly that, but it also completely reversed. And so could that be a look above and fail, giving us a retest of these lower levels and some more pullback to give us our garden variety 5% full pullback? Could be, right? The big put wall, remember, we talked about this. For weeks, we were talking about the fact that this put wall just did not come up. The call wall has come down. It was 6,800. The 0 DTEs were also 6,800. But the big call wall for the month still sits at 6,800. The put wall still sits at 6,400. Right now, these folks who sold the calls and sold the puts, they don't really care what happens in here. Perfectly happy. If we start drifting down into this zone, they're going to be very happy they never moved the put wall up. And so that's what we're going to see. Sideways action, very likely. Support zone, take a look at the anchored VWAP from yesterday. That's 6,643. That's relative support. If we lose the gamma line of 66.25, we should try to bounce right away. If we don't, we're going to head back down to these deeper gamma lines and these Fibonacci extensions as they move into prior areas of congestion. What's the trade? It's pretty sideways because trend is down to flat, even though we're bouncing, right? Momentum is flat. And so that's going to give you sideways formations. Be patient. Bounces, going to give you selling pressure. Fades, going to give you buying pressure. You just need to look to the left to see where they've been building inventory in a prior manner to give you some upside. I like that area around 66.25 to potentially hold. That'll keep us inside of the opening range candlestick formation on this 4-hour, but we could just move sideways, right? From a range perspective, we've done a whole lot. We are inside value area low. Value area low is 66.56. Value area high, 67.74, right? And that's really, we had a lot of very big sellers pile in here, and now they're sitting pretty happy, I would imagine. Let's take a look at the NQ. So we got a lot going on here. Let's remove all these. Let's remove the fib. Okay. Notice this is back in the midst of value area, the value area in the formation. So this is recovering a fair bit better than the ES, right? It's already over the 0 DTE call wall, right? That's pretty important. So if we have call resistance at the 0 DTE call walls at 24,720, if they bounce off of this number and move upward, these guys are going to buy the index and roll their calls. Value area high, 25,000. Call wall, 25,500. Put wall, 23,000. So there's a $2,000 space for the put wall to the call wall. They're expecting a fair bit of volatility, right? So what do we want to do? We want to watch for this area. Can it hold 24,720? That gives us the first pass bounce into resistance. We've got a cross current. Moving averages are up, but relative trend is down. Big gap up in the pre-market. We could stay in this 4-hour candlestick formation with the 0 DTE put wall at 24,500. Gives us a shot of moving to the upside, right? Off of this line, 24,543. Or we could sit absolutely within this range. I am going to be fairly hands-off, although I have the sneaky suspicion that these absolute reflexive moves that we've been seeing, they're going to change appearance in the short term as we move into what I suspect to be a very volatile sideways pocket until close to the end of the month. All right, we are seeing a little bit of buying pressure, so momentum is a little bit long, but trend is sideways and we're under the VWAP. That means if you buy the dip, you better get ready to take profit at the upper edge of the zone, which is that 24,850. Value area high, 25,068. Value area low, 24,455. All right, let's take a look at gold. Gold's been quite the beast, right? It hit the call wall already. Let's delete all of these formations. Oh, for goodness sakes. Always operator error. It's never remove all annotations. Yes, let's do it. Boom. Call wall, 4,100. What'd they do? Break right up over it. Remember, the way these commodity traders work with these things, they make you think it's going to keep going and then it collapses. However, this is in a clear dip buying formation, especially if we're looking at the 4-hour edges, right? We've got the VWAP at 4,080 or so. That's a breakaway line. As long as we stay above that zone, dips are going to be buys. No doubt about it. This is still trending up. I do expect a fade and a liquidity break at some juncture, but I don't know when it's going to be. And it did a really nice job of recovery because people bought that put support line really nicely. 3,975, the floor. The 0 DTE call wall has been breached. It's 4,030. Traders want to get it here in between this zone, right? If they can't, they're going to keep buying it up, and tomorrow the 0 DTE call wall will rise. The put wall, the big put wall, is now, well, yeah, it's rising a little bit. It's now 3,800. We've got a general VWAP at 3,844, but the point of control where the most contracts have been traded is all the way down here at 3,684. Anything can happen, of course, but dips continue to be buy zones. So that's the order of the day. What are we looking at? Anchored VWAP, 4,060. That's one of the lines that the traders came into 2 days ago, or actually early this morning, excuse me. And then the one below that is 4,003. So I easily would expect a retest of 4,060. I would be very, very careful going long here without a retest that's positive, right? And it would look probably like a breakaway, right? So it would pop up, come back down, pop up, come back down, pop up, and then break out. Notice, test, come down, pop back up, really down, pop back up, retest, and now it's in a breakaway. So pullbacks, definitely buy zones. You could scalp it short if you like, but you better be quick or you're going to be dead. All right, SPY. Same sort of thing going on, right? Topping formation. Is it a topping formation? Someone asked me over the weekend, hey, you talk about topping formations all the time, but what does that mean? Listen, what I would say, if you hear other people say, hey, consolidation, what else might they say? Resistance, all of that stuff can fall into a topping category. My topping, when I say the word topping, or I say the word bottoming, what it means is, very simply, I think prices are telling us they can't go higher. That's a topping space. It says supply is keeping us from moving higher. Remember, demand moves prices up because supply is limited. But when supply is excessive, prices move down so trade can facilitate, right? And sometimes that trade is negative, sometimes the trade is positive. But topping formations just say, hey, there's a level of resistance floating around right here, and we need to watch it. Bottoming formation is the same thing. There's a level of support that we're watching, and we need to keep watching it. It's as simple as that. Don't read anything else into it. It's just that simple. All right. What is the SPY doing? Same thing as everybody else. It's actually sitting in that first hour, right? The news that came out that, just kidding about the China trade. People are using the news to liquidate. They were anxious to liquidate. They just needed a little bit of a catalyst. What are we doing? We're inside value area high, $672.80. Value area low, $645. What do I expect? A bounce higher that does not break the high. That's what I suspect. However, anything can happen because we're in a cross current. This one is battling at the VWAP. It's trying to hold a VWAP of 660. If it can't, the put wall and the zero DTE put wall at 650, almost right on top of each other. That's very interesting. There's going to be a lot of people trying to defend this zone at 650. Value area low, 645. So I suspect some measure of digestion. Could it be that we fill the gap? Here's the close of the day, down at 651. Could we fill the gap and then bounce? A lot of people trade gap fills and then go to the beach. That's like their whole life. They just are. There's actually a trader called the Gap Guy, and that's all he does. That's his sweet spot. So it could definitely fill. But could it fill some other day but today? Absolutely. Right? I suspect a fair bit of cross current. So what does that give us? Big wicks, good sell zones, big fades, good buy zones. You just have to watch for the market to rotate back in your general direction. You know, we could be a little newsy today, and it's going to be interesting. All right. Take care, everybody. Watch out. Oil took a massive tumble, and that's not going to be good for energy generation. We're falling into some very interesting spaces. All right. More to chat about that later, but take care, and I'll see you on the streams.